Last year, the average full-time Australian worker earned over $100,000 a year. But here is the twist: that number is completely misleading. Ultra-high income earners earning millions a year, like this guy, skew the average number higher. But what we should really be looking at is the median income, the amount that most Australians actually earn. And as I'll reveal in this video, it's a bit lower. So that raises the question, where do you stand? In this video, I'll break down Australia's real income distribution, show you what it takes to be in the upper half, top 20, 10, and even 1%, and reveal a tool that ranks your income against the rest of the country. Make sure to stick around, as by the end of the video, you'll know exactly where you stand and it's sure to shock you. So let's get into it. In November, the Australian Bureau of Statistics released their average weekly earnings data. The headline figure they've given us for a full-time Australian worker is $2,047 a week before they doctor the numbers. If we divide by 7 and multiply by 365 days, this comes to around $106,000 a year before tax, super deductions, overtime, and bonuses. However, as we well know, not everyone is a doctor or an accountant or a dodgy real estate developer like the one that skimped on my ceiling insulation in my house. So this income appears pretty high when we look at the entire population.
I think there's a general perception that a lot of people are earning $100,000 a year or more, when the reality is that the bulk of the population are earning well below that.
This is the issue when we use an average. So here's an example. If I have 99 people earning random amounts between $60,000 and $100,000 a year, but then include the Macquarie Bank CEO earning close to $30 million a year, the average income is a whopping $373,000 a year. The median, on the other hand, using the same people with the same incomes, is just $80,000. Basically, in our room of 100 people, if we rank them according to their income from lowest to highest, we'd take the income of the 50th person bang in the middle. This is a better metric for an average income, as half the people earn less than them and 50% earn higher than them. I used an exaggerated example, but it proves the point. Averages can be manipulated by the higher income earners, but the median better represents our understanding of what is average. ABS has another page on their website called Employee Earnings, which was published back in December. Here they published their median earnings data, which came to $1,700 a week. When we annualize this, we get $88,642 a year. Half of Australian full-time workers earn less than this, while half earn more than this. The ABS estimates there are just over 10 million full-time workers in Australia, so 5 million people earn more than $88,600 and another 5 million earn less than this. We can also see from 2023 to 2024, the median Australian worker saw a 6.3% increase in income. The other insight we can gather here is the income difference between men and women. The median man earns just under $1,800 a week, or $93,300 a year, while for women this comes to about $1,600 a week, or $83,300. This difference equates to $10,000 a year. Later in the video, I'll be taking a look at the median incomes by age, which shows an interesting dynamic here that could explain this difference, so stay tuned for that. Many workers earn an hourly wage, and the ABS has some data on that as well. The median hourly wage in Australia is about $40 an hour, and saw a very modest increase between 23 and 24. What this suggests is that people are potentially working more hours than they did in 2023, so to get ahead of the majority, reflect on your own skill set and determine whether you could increase your earnings. So what does it take to be a part of the top 30, 20, 10, and even 1%? For this, we have a useful calculator from ACOS and UNSW Sydney, looking at income inequality across Australia. The data is a little bit old, sourced as far back as 2019, but it gives us a rough picture. In the About Me section, we can key in our income, either weekly or monthly, and before or after tax. The chart on the right then shows us where we stand compared to the incomes of all Australians above the age of 15. Keep in mind too that this looks at everybody above the age of 15, not just those in part or full-time work. Let's read the graph left to right to get a picture. The median Australian above the age of 15, both working and not, earns $869 a week. This equates to a little over $45,000 a year. Looking at the shape of the chart, we can see roughly a quarter of this group earn very little to nothing at all. They could be unemployed, retired, on unpaid maternity leave, studying at school or university, and a range of other circumstances. As we move along, we're picking up those who might be living off a pension, a benefit, working part-time, that kind of thing. Looking now at the top end of town, to be in the top 30% of Australians, you need to be earning over $1,385 a week, or $72,200 a year. To be in the top 20%, this increases to $1,773 a week, or $92,400 a year. The top 10% over $2,426 a week, or $126,500 a year. And finally, the top 1% over $6,388 a week, or $333,000 a year. Again, this shows you where you stand compared to the population, not just those in full-time work as we looked at before. Until the ABS or ATO release more data publicly, this is the best we've got. So again, here is a table summarizing the top 50, 30, 20, 10, and 1% of Australian adults by annual income. I've included a link to the calculator down below in the video description. Another interesting thing you can do here is show where you stand by age. For example, if you're aged between 25 and 34 and earn $100,000 a year, you're earning more than 79% of Australians your age. So that's on the personal income side of things. Let's now take a look at the median household income. Let's use a hypothetical example of a household with 2 adults and 2 children making $100,000 a year. As we can see from the chart, using this example of 2 adults and 2 children, this household beats just 33% of Australian households. So this suggests for a household of that size, they're living in the bottom third of Australian households. If we look at the median household income, regardless of size, this equates to around $2,545 a week, or $132,700 a year. To be in the top 30%, you need to earn $3,545 a week, or $184,800 a year. The top 20% of households earn $4,250 a week, or $221,600 a year. The top 10% just under $5,500 a week, or $286,500 a year. And finally, the top 1% of households earn over $13,320 a week, or $649,500 a year. The top end is pretty heavy, but if we look at the middle class bands between the quartiles, we'd place it roughly between $1,600 a week and $3,900. This equates to roughly $83,000 and $203,000 a year. So all in all, this website provides a lot of useful data, so make sure to check it out for yourself down below in the video description. CanStar have also taken a look at the data and highlight some interesting gender insights. Looking at the full-time worker details between 15 and 24, women actually earn more than the men. This is median data, showing the true average female is outperforming their male counterparts. From 25 onwards though, we can see that men are consistently out-earning the women. This has sparked a lot of discussion in Australia and around the world about gender pay gap. I won't get into all of that here, but it's an interesting statistic relating to Australian incomes. The ABS also released data a couple months ago looking at the median weekly earnings by education level and industry. It's no surprise that managers take home the highest median pay at around $2,100 a week, or $110,000 a year. The pay increases with the education level, topping out at over $2,500 a week, or $132,000 a year, with a postgraduate degree. Looking over at the industries, Australian workers in the mining sector are the highest paid, with median earnings of $2,600 a week, or $135,000 a year. Even those with just a school qualification and nothing else earn a median $2,000 a week, or roughly $104,000 a year. Those with advanced postgraduate degrees earn a median $3,400 a week, or $177,000 a year. Industries with a median wage above $2,000 a week, or $104,000 a year, for an employee with at least a bachelor's degree, includes utility service workers, wholesale trade, financial services, and professional scientific and technical services. On the lower end of the scale, those working in retail, food, and accommodation services earn a median income of less than $900 a week, or $46,500 a year. If you want to learn more about how your super balance compares to other Australians your age, make sure to check this video out next. Also make sure to subscribe down below, and I look forward to catching you in my future videos. Cheers!